Why is Scottie Pippen continuously attacking Michael Jordan lately? Hey guys, before I jump in, a brief request from this side of the camera. Please smash that like button. And if you're new, especially if you're new, please consider subscribing to the channel. That would really help me out a lot. Well, first of all, to my Michigan football fans, please be patient. We are a few months away from the season. As I've said many times on this channel, my start with sports was deeply rooted in basketball. So from time to time, I will create basketball related content. And this topic right here is something that I've been watching, and it's something that has stood out to me, and I wanted to create something on it myself. So as many of you know, well, and for those of you who don't know, I am working on a basketball related book project. And in that book project, I chronicle my early interest in basketball and my start watching the NBA and learning its players and learning the game. And I was a Michael Jordan fan initially, and a Chicago Bulls fan initially. And I have very, very fond childhood memories of the ascension of Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, specifically their multiple run-ins with the bad boy Detroit Pistons, and then finally their breaking through to win those first three titles. And for me, the first three-peat is more special than the second three-peat. And that first core cast of players and coaches are more special to me than that second set. But I'm saying this to say that I have very, very fond childhood memories of seeing Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen play together and show their versatility and shooting the ball, dunking the ball, taking the ball out into the open court in transition and either finishing themselves or dishing to teammates, defending the other team's top players, those red, white, and black uniforms, all of it. The Batman and Robin duo, for me, there will always be something magical about them, that team, and that era. So with so much success and having won 6 titles together and having been on the Dream Team together, what's the source of the tension today? Well, one source of tension is some of the personal things that are happening in Scottie's life. That goes beyond the scope of what I want to talk about here. My heart goes out to Scottie for some of the things that are happening in his personal life. And I'll just leave that there. And the Jordans are in part involved in that. But before that, if you go back to the documentary, The Last Dance, I think a part of the tension is how Scottie was portrayed in The Last Dance. And there were struggles, or there were issues with Scottie getting a new contract and whether or not he did what he needed to do to get a new contract. And I think there was some tension regarding whether or not Michael helped him get a new contract. And for many years, Michael did too, but Scottie was underpaid for the value that he was providing to the NBA and to the league. But recently, it seems as though Scottie and other Bulls players, so it's not just Scottie, but other Bulls players, have not felt good and have not felt well about how they were portrayed in The Last Dance, and they don't feel like that they were given adequate credit for their contributions to those Chicago Bulls titles. Luke Longley, of all people, himself came out and has an hour documentary that I was watching on YouTube about his life and his journey, and how he was only shown in the documentary once. But the other thing that I've gleaned from all this content, and the one thing that keeps coming up, is Michael Jordan's character. What we know about Michael is he was highly competitive, and he was very competitive, and Michael wanted to win everything that he competed in. But he was a hard teammate to play with, and he criticized his teammates, and he cracked the whip on his teammates, and he wasn't always the friendliest person to play with, and he wasn't always the most endearing teammate to play with. And you saw that in the Luke Longley documentary, that Michael was often on his own island, separate from the rest of the team. So a lot of players are looking back, and they don't feel well about how they were treated, and they don't feel well about how they were led by number 23 in red, which is interesting because so many of us looked up to Michael, so many of us idolized Michael, so many of us wanted to be Michael. And in a team situation like that, when you're working on a common goal, you never know from the outside looking in what it's like working with a person and being with a person. And hey, brilliant people, driven people, they're often very, very aggressive, and they're often they often have a very, very cutthroat nature about them, and they often do not care about the feelings of others, just that singular goal in mind. And it matters years later. You might look at something like this and say, why doesn't Scottie just get over this? Why doesn't Michael get over his angst and his beef with Isaiah Thomas? That's something that's gone on for years and years. And I think Scottie has had a long-running criticism of Isaiah Thomas. It matters how you treat people, and it matters in feelings and in these issues. If they don't get resolved, they can go on and on and on for years. So I think that's what's going on, and I just wanted to make a quick video discussing this because Scottie has been grinding his axe lately for Michael, and people are looking at Scottie and saying Scottie's being delusional, and Scottie even came out and said that in some instances he's propped LeBron James up over Michael, and recently he's just been very, very critical of Michael. Now, interestingly, Michael has been pretty quiet on all of this, so which I think is a good thing. So salute to you, Michael, for not engaging in a public war of words with Scottie. But hopefully the two players can, before one of them departs this realm, hopefully they can make up and come to some sort of resolution to this, because they were such a dynamic duo when the Bulls were ascending, and they made so much history, and I looked up to both of them when I was a preteen and an early teen. So let me know what you think about this feud between Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. What do you think about this? Do you think Scottie is delusional? Do you think Scottie needs to just zip it and give this up? Do you think that The Last Dance should have been more inclusive of Scottie and the other players? And should The Last Dance have been more balanced in terms of what was happening with Scottie and Phil Jackson? Scottie has been critical of the Zen Master. So everybody has an opinion about somebody else. This is Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to donate something to the channel, that information is below in the description box. You can also leave a super thanks. And finally, please consider joining the Big Words LLC Newsletter. In addition to being a YouTube content creator, I am also a writer with 2 blogs and a book project on the way. So with that, I'm going to wrap this up. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.